As the German soldiers struggled to sing God Save the King, Captain Forsyth headed back to the British side and soldiers gathered round him. The officer was not much older than Private Albert Watson. His eyes were sparkling and his pale cheeks had pink spots in them. I had spoken to their commander and they agreed we will have a truce for 48 hours. Neither side will fire till after Boxing Day. The men cheered and Albert turned to Charlie Alberton. That's good news, Charlie. The old man shook his head. Never seen anything like it in 20 years. It never happened in the Boer War. Anyone who tried it would have been shot. By the Boers? No, by the British, you dummy. They cannot have people going round making friends with the enemy. Why not? Because, young fella, it would put us all out of a job. Charlie grinned. Then the grin faded. Young Captain Forsyth is taking a bit of a chance talking to the enemy like that. The generals won't like it, you see. The generals? They are probably roasting a goose and steaming their Christmas puddings miles away in a big warm house. What do they care? Albert asked. We'll see, Charlie shrugged. We'll see. As Christmas Eve slipped into Christmas morning, the singing began to fade. Charlie and Albert went to the rear trenches for some sleep and returned the next morning. Albert looked carefully over the top of the trench and saw a group of 20 Germans climb out with a football. They kicked it over the uneven ground and passed it to one another. I was a good footballer, Albert said. What, with legs like yours? Charlie scoffed. Never. I'll bet I could teach those Germans a trick or two. Go on then. You what? Charlie climbed up to no man's land and shouted across to the enemy. Albert Watson here's a star footballer. He says he could beat you with one foot tied behind his back. The Germans laughed. We are best footballer players in world. Other entries heard the cry and roared back. Rubbish. More British soldiers climbed up onto the crackling mud and someone said, 11 aside, let's see how good you are. The Germans gathered into a group to choose their best 11 while the British troops did the same. Albert stood shyly in the group until Sergeant Carter pointed to him. Best right-winger in the town until he joined up. No one argued, and Albert found himself stripping off his jacket and running onto the roughest pot-hole football pitch the world had ever seen. A German officer had a whistle and acted as referee and timekeeper. He blew and the match was underway.